Hi team, it's Duncan here. I'm just going to be chatting to you about the replacement of our Slack account with MS Teams and Jira. It shouldn't be too much of a transition for all of you to handle. I know most of you, or if not all of you, are experienced with both Teams, MS Teams and Slack. However, at this point, at least for Palace, we've been using Slack to escalate things to the tech support guys and the developers. So I'm going to just start by quickly showing you what we're going to be running through today. So we're going to review the existing Slack processes. I want to show you the new MS Teams channel, which you will be invited to and what they mean. I'm going to do a little bit of an introduction to Jira and then show you how MS Teams will relate to Jira. And then I'm also going to talk about how to handle the Jira and Zendesk escalation management. And finally, I'm actually just going to add something here. I'm going to just talk about the history of Slack, just so we cover that off. So starting with our existing processes, if you're escalating at the moment to developers or to technical support, generally we use these two channels. As you can see, you've been using them. Effectively, you will start using a template. You'll describe who the client is in their 3-digit code, the description of the issue, has the client been contacted? It's got, you put the code in. So all of this is there, the Zendesk ticket number, the priority, the escalation engineer, which is what I'll be referring to them from now. So the developer or the technical support will generally put an eye on it to say, hey, they're looking at it. They'll have a discussion in a thread. You'll see Jane's in this particular one. She's put some comments on it. Jeffrey's replied. Jeffrey fixed the issue no matter what it was, and then they put a tick on it. And that's generally the escalation. I imagine Jane would have then closed the ticket on Zendesk, ticked it off, and that's kind of been the end of it. We're replacing this with MS Teams, but we're also introducing a Jira portion of this. Now, the benefit of the Jira ticket system is we will then be able to do further analysis, figure out from the escalation side of things how much stuff comes through to us related to specific issues, and then be able to also plan development around reducing those escalation issues over time, and have that record in a proper Jira ticketing system. So that's kind of the review of how we've done it at the moment. I'm just going to open up Teams now. So I've already set up these channels. Nobody's been invited to them yet on the Palace side. It has the same channels are already in use on the property tree side, so I may refer to some of them just to show you how they look later on. You'll see a whole lot of channels. If you're a support person, they're not really going to apply to you. They'll apply to more about the things like the production environment and the developer environments, and things like that, which don't necessarily have anything to do with you. But you'll see there's 3 that will have to do with the way escalations work that you'll be part of. I'll add some other ones here as they're needed, but because I'm specifically talking about escalations to product, we're just going to focus on those product channels. Again, I know if we review Slack, there's also a support general one, which has some collaboration going on. I'll put that one in as well into the Teams, but I'm just leaving it consistent with the property tree one at the moment. So escalations 1 and 2, I'll just describe the different options here. Escalations 1 is anything along the lines of multiple clients being affected by the issue. So if it's just one client and they've got one problem, you would never put it in escalation 1. It has to affect numerous clients. So I would say upwards of 10 clients, and you're talking about an escalation 1. And so it could be related to a server issue, a service is down, or it could be related to a particular service within Palace. So for instance, the email service is not working, or the API service is not working, or something along that line that affects anybody. Now, so that's escalation 1. Escalation 2, that generally affects a single client. So this is generally what we would put in the developer support channel. If I'm looking at Slack, support developer, that's really our equivalent of escalation 2. So anything that a single client has a problem with, that they can't get past, that's a blocker, that requires technical support of some sort, that'll go as a post to escalation 2. And the third one is kind of our it's escalations DB. So that's related to any scripts running or any API issues. So it's kind of all the back end stuff. And that really, if I'm linking it back to our existing channel, that falls under the tech setup area. So it also could related to issues after a conversion where we require scripts to be run and things like that. So if we're looking at the MS Team side, it's looking fairly similar so far. And if I were to start a post, you've got a subject, so I could say email service is currently down. Please take a look at urgently. I could put in this as an important message just to indicate the importance of it. We don't have a template on this side of things. That actually comes at the Jira stage. So this can just be a quick description, which says, I'm about to put a Jira, an urgent Jira ticket in. But please look into this urgently, as no one is receiving emails at the moment. Okay, so this is obviously escalation 1, email services down. At this point, I haven't created the Jira ticket, and you don't need to create it straight away, especially if it's something urgent and you want it's an escalation 1, something major's gone on, you're getting, you could even say quite often on the property tree side, they say, we've already received, 30 tickets on this, right? So you could even say, this is, just add some information to indicate what's going on. So, we don't have back and forth about, who's received this, have they checked this? So you've already established email services currently down. You could even say incoming service, maybe it's just relating to incoming or outgoing. So that's your original post, right? You can post that up without the Jira ticket, and that gives us a heads up on the product side that we need to look into this. Now, usually what we would also, so once you've done it, you can then look at putting the Jira ticket. So I'm going to do a little bit of an introduction to Jira. I'll move this over here. Some of you may not have this yet, but I'm getting a list of who requires access. And it'll be in your Okta screen, and you'll see I've got a few extra things. One of the things you may not have yet when you go into your Okta login is this Jira Atlassian thing, tile, and that takes you into the Jira product. Now, you don't actually need to know a heck of a lot about Jira. There's a huge amount to it. I still have to put my email address in. That should be enough. Single sign-on because I've come from Okta. And there's really only one board you need to be aware of. So I've come in here, and you can just, in your own time, you can just bookmark it. But we've got a Palace project, and within the Palace project, we've got a board, and that board is our escalations. And you'll see we already have it in use in some. Our product team, some of them already use this, but for the most part, this is going to be entered by support people who have escalated tickets. So I've already got one in here, but I want to start from the beginning. We've set up a template in this, so you don't have to create a new and try and fill everything out in advance. You can just go to apps up the top here, create from template, and within this, coming up any second, you'll see that it comes up with an issue type. You only ever need to worry about the issue escalation. Don't worry about any of the others. These will only ever be escalations. And once you select that, you'll see that in the drop down of the templates, there's one called PAL escalation template. So from this one, if I hit next, it should take you through a template, which you may be familiar with that you kind of had on Slack, but this is in Jira. So from this point of view, you could say incoming email is down. Please look into this urgently. 30 plus tickets. 30 plus tickets already have already come in. Now, obviously 30 plus tickets, you don't need to tell, in this particular case, a browser or operating system is not really necessary. Describe the tickets. Well, you can just leave these. None of these, by the way, are compulsory. You won't see that they're mandatory. They're really just to help you and help the developers figure out what the issue is if it's a little bit more specific. So you could describe the steps as check incoming, send yourself an incoming email, send yourself an email and reply, wait for the reply. It doesn't come in. If it's something along those lines, your Zendesk reference, which I'm sure you'll all know. Again, attaching your relevant screenshots. You can't really do this from the template, so it might actually remove this one, or if you've got a link to an area, that would be a good place to put it. And again, I can leave this one relatively sparse for now. If I go next, it takes you to the actual. It creates the ticket for you, more in aligned with how Jira tickets look. If somebody's already picked it up, for instance, and again, if I go into here, I might, let's say Andrew or somebody else might have picked it up. You can do what we've done in Slack, and you can put eyes on it, and whoever's got the eyes on it, you can go, oh, okay, well, I see Duncan is already looking into this, so I can assign it to him since he's already told me. You can leave it blank if you want for the time being if nobody's done it yet. So I can assign it to Duncan. You can give it the highest priority since it's affecting multiple people. You don't need to select clients as such in this particular case. It's obviously related to Palace. The ones with the star indicates you have to have it. You can just select Palace as the version as well, the current version out. We may be doing something with labels a little bit later, but I'll leave that for now. You'll notice there's already a component in it called rapid response, and that's sort of going to be helping us with our views later on. So that's really all you need to do. The one thing you'll notice is that this is in what's called Markdown. So you'll see these sort of H2 So it looks a little bit funny, some of the formatting of the template that you filled out. What I would suggest is that at this point, once you know at least all the mandatory fields are done, you hit the create button. And this actually takes you, this shows a little link up the top here to the actual link. And if you click on it, it actually takes you into a better view, right, where you can see the headers and stuff like that. And you can make changes. Now, so this is where, like, if you wanted to add screenshots, you can do attachments in here, screenshots, videos, files. Your ticket number should have, I didn't fill it in, but it should have already been in there. You can add a link to the Zendesk ticket, the codes as you used to have them, and as much information as you think will help the developers solve the issue as quickly as possible. So I'll leave it at this for now. In here, there's a little copy link. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm also going to go back to the original ticket in Teams, and I'm going to edit it, and I'm just going to put in here Jira ticket, and I'm just going to push Control V. There we go, which actually puts the Jira ticket in. So now I've got, and you'll see it sort of comes up with a preview, and that means whoever was looking at this, you click directly on, takes you directly to the Jira ticket in Jira. So that's pretty much done. The eyes are looking at it. Again, whatever you've added into here, at this point, if the reporter, depending on who that is, the reporter generally will show yourself. The developer can then direct comments directly back at you. So if I said, Duncan, we've looked into this. We've looked into this, and it appears to be a server issue. We've now restarted the server. Service. That sort of adds it into the comment. If I wanted to sort of copy and paste that as well, I'll save that there. That'll actually get emailed to me. If you're on Jira, you'll get tickets emailed to you if they're directed at you. I can go back to here. I could also just paste it back in here. We've looked at now restarted the service, and I can do my if I wanted to do a tick, which is this one or that one, whichever one you decide, I can then change it to a tick, and it's solved. So effectively, that's the way that we do it. The developers will then be changing this, so they might put it under review as well if once they've started looking at it, and take it through this process. They'll then transition it through to done, and they'll put in resolved, and they'll put in the developers will put in all the information that's required. I'm just going to leave that as done. Oh, I need the story points. So that's story points just relate to how long it took us to solve the issue. Again, not really required by the support team. If I go back to this project and the escalation board, you'll see that ticket doesn't exist because that's already done, and only the in progress one and solution provided will be sorted. We could have it that basically it goes through to solution provided, which is what Property Tree does, and then the the support analyst who looked at it can then check the solution, check with the client that it's solved, and then they can set the ticket to done. So I might do another run through with maybe a secondary type ticket. Maybe we want a script run. So this is all completed as I've described. But let's say we just wanted to set up an API request for Johnson's Real Estate. Please set up an API for Johnson's. Jira ticket. I'll just leave that there for now as I'll just create the Jira ticket again. So again, go to apps, create from template, select, so it'll really be on Palace, and this actually, a lot of this saves automatically, so you just hit next. And then I'll just say partner wants to connect. You can probably copy and paste that as well. All there. API request for Johnson. Wants let's Tappy connect it up. We don't need to worry about the steps. You could just put the Zendesk reference, DEN 123. I don't know. And we'll just leave it at that. I'll go next. Get the issue created. Just make sure Palace is already set. Just make sure Palace is in the product. The rest of it's all already there. Hit create. Click on that link top right that shows up. I'm in here. The Johnson Real Estate. Johnson Real Estate. JON. Request API access. Once Tappy connected up. Whatever other information you usually do for an API request. Now, what did I actually put this? Yeah, so I'm in the DB version here. Now that I've got the ticket, I can just copy the link, chuck it back into the Jira ticket here so that I can refer to it later, post it, and then whoever the developer is or tech support, they can put eyes on it again and go looking into this now. And so you'll be able to see that as well, obviously. They'll then come in, find your ticket. They'll click on that link. So let me actually go back out. So I know this is all saved. So let's go back to the board. Yeah, where is it? Escalation. Oops. Oh, I didn't change the, let's have a look. Yeah, I didn't change the title. So create API connection for Johnson. Sit there. So you can make any changes, doesn't really matter. If you've missed anything, you can always refer back to it. Having everything in there really helps. I see that one's assigned to Simona. She's the one who set up the template, so it always seems to default to her. But if you know the person, again, you can just double check. You can add any comments and direct them at that person. I can say, Duncan, later on, please do the ASAP. Or you just put that in the reply, the thread for this particular post. So let's say I'm the developer now. I'm going to actually go back to Teams. I'll click on that. That'll take me straight to the ticket you've just created. I'll go, oh, yep, cool, okay. I'll say it's in progress, doing it now, under review. And then don't worry, I'll do the stuff in the background. Let's pretend it's completed, and I'll say, okay, cool, I've done it. The solution has been provided. I'll just put in one, resolved, get up API connection, provided feedback. And then the developer will come back here, and again, we'll change this to tick, and they'll say, okay, cool. Okay, I've done this now. Please check. you can then go and check that the API has been set up with the client or the partner, and once you've confirmed, you close the Jira ticket, and you the Zendesk ticket, and you can come in here and confirm it. And I think I like this way better because it means it has actually been confirmed with the client. You can go done, cool, congratulations, and then again. I don't think any of this is required stuff, so you can just go done if you want. And there we go. You've closed the ticket and it's disappeared from the escalation board. The good thing about this this board is you can also see what other things are going on, whether if other people have put in similar tickets, and you can see what's outstanding in terms of all escalation tickets for the developers or the escalation engineers, and what it's at. So that's pretty much it. And that this applies to scripts and things like that. Now, there is one scenario where an escalation means that we actually need to do an update of the product. And obviously that takes quite a bit longer. And what happens in that scenario is that the escalation will need to turn into an incident. So in that scenario, let's say we're talking about this particular one. The API can't be set up because, I don't know, something's broken, and we need to fix it in an update because it's not working for whatever reason. If that's the case, effectively what will happen is instead of, and I'm going to go to this ticket and I'll change it back to if I can. Let's see if I can. So I'm going to reopen it, and I'll just say needs to be we need to update Palace. Okay, so I'm just opening it back up so I can show you what it'll look like if we need to do an update. So again, I'm going to look at the board. It should be in my open again. Here we go. There it is there. And I'm going to go, okay, sorry, I need to do an update. And since I need to do an update, I will put it back into under review for now. Effectively, what the engineer will end up doing is saying, is going into, this bit here and going to move. And what we're going to do is we're going to move the escalation into an incident, right? Incident is what effectively is basically saying we need to log a bug in the system. So I'm going to do that just to quickly show you the process. Under review, the new status can be in planning, because we'll be in planning. Go next. Again, a lot of these are already set. There's certain things that require that will say how critical it is. If there's no workaround available, again, the developers will be the one doing this, and they can decide what's important about depending on the ticket, just like you do. So I'm just going to leave everything else as is. Oops. Internal incident, client reported IR, security, no. Looks like some of these I have to cannot process or cannot access. Compliance, we'll just say yes. Okay. Confirm. And once we change it into an incident, the engineer can come back and say this will be fixed in this version. Now, since it's now an incident, it actually won't show in the Kanban board that we've selected here, right? It's actually moved to an incident board. And from that point, the product owners take over and they schedule it in, and whoever's picked the card up can say it's now been moved to an incident. This has been promoted to an incident. If they know, they'll go and will be resolved in the next release, or it'll be resolved in a hotfix on this date, or whatever it may be. The point is, it's being handled at this point as far as you're concerned. So you can, as long as you've got the details, you can reply to the client saying, look, it's a bug. We recognize it's a bug. We'll pass it on to the engineers. They will be proceeding with an update or a hotfix, and then you can close the Zendesk ticket if you need to, and effectively put the tick here, because although the problem itself has not been resolved, it has been moved into an area where it will be resolved in an update. If you ever want to refer to it later, the same link, with because it keeps the same ticket numbers, will still take you to that particular one, and you can see where it's at in terms of this action here. And if it's closed, that means it's already been put into an update, and that update has already been released. If you want more information, maybe the clients come back and open the ticket and you need more information from the engineer, you can add it to the comment and direct it, and he'll get emailed, or you can, again, you can just update it and reference the person in here. Say, look, this person knows it's coming in this update, but they just want to know a bit more information, or whatever it may be. So look, pretty much it. I think we've covered a lot. Yeah, the introduction to Jira, MS Teams, Jira and ticket management installation. History of Slack. I'm trying at the moment, it's very difficult to, I can export the history in Slack, but it exports into a very strange format. I'm doing some work on how to import that into Teams. There is some options for doing that, but it can be quite. It'll take us quite a bit to do. So the way I want to start this in the meantime is to actually turn these channels into read-only channels once we've got the cutover date, and you can still go back into Slack and look at the channels for historic purposes, just like you've been doing, and search them for the time being, until such time as I've managed to convert it into a format, or until such time as we may not need it. So I will work on that side of it, and my plan is to export specifically out of channels that I'm asked for, so developers and tech setup, if that's the stuff that you search through, or even the support general, and then import it into Teams. I'm not quite sure how the format will look once I import it, so I'll do some tests first. But in the meantime, you'll continue to have access to Slack from a read-only point of view, depending on the cutoff date, and I will update you further on that when I get closer to a better solution. So that's it. Took a little bit longer than I thought. Hopefully you all understand it. Please send me any questions or concerns if I've missed anything. Something that is coming up, which is a little bit of a bonus for the Palace team, is you'll see there's another Slack channel here called Weekly. That relates to an app that we've developed that integrates with SceneGrid, and that will allow you to talk directly to SceneGrid to figure out what's happening with certain emails. If you get support relating to a specific email not being delivered, you can use this product called Weekly, which allows you to chat to SceneGrid and trace emails and unblock emails and de-spam emails and things like that. So that's also, I'll do that on a separate, I'll talk about that once we've got it up and running for the Palace team. At the moment, it's just waiting on a snow ticket. Cool, thanks for your attention. I'll distribute this video out, and yeah, we'll go from there.